Alrighty, my friends, we are here to talk about lists. So this is a great way to grow, and I want you again. If you are only focused on Twitter, only focus on Twitter. If you have the bandwidth to branch into other platforms, do it. If you start branching into other platforms and they're just like not working or you're getting too overwhelmed, don't be afraid to cut them off and just focus solely on Twitter because Twitter is the most powerful platform, in my opinion. Even if you can grow viral on TikTok and Instagram, it's not the same. It's really not. There's not that raw authenticity and writing that Twitter provides, right? So I recommend Twitter above all. And of course, this is nuanced to every single person. If you already have another platform, you focus on that main priority, right? And you leverage your current leverage. So we're here to talk about lists because lists are everywhere. If you're in doubt, write a list. When I was first starting out, which we'll go over at the end of this entire module, most of my content was list based, or at least the ones that caused growth for me were list based. So, talking about this, I want to go over something because we're going to go over my APAG writing framework later for how you write newsletters or articles or anything like that. But at the end of them, I usually include some form of bullet point list. And even here, I listed multiple business models that I failed with, right? So I could create a thread. This is my point. If you start thinking about the entire content ecosystem that we just talked about with tweets, threads, and newsletters, you can start to work them all into one. Where a thread does much better when it's just straight to the point, actionable, where it's like, here are the 7 business models that I failed with. Something like that. You can write a better hook. But then I list them and I give like the big ideas from this. And the same thing goes for the lessons I learned, right? Where I could do a soft timeline of what I did, but then I also have lessons at the end. So 7 rapid fire lessons learned from a decade of failures. So I could do this multiple ways. I could write the newsletter first and just think about the thread that I'm going to write for the week and quite literally write it in the newsletter. And so they're differentiated and it's not super repetitive, but I have 7 lessons here. So I could do 7 lessons I learned from a decade of online business failure, right? And of course, you can craft a better hook if you want to. Another thing is, so let's take a look at this for a second, right? So you have this, and then you can write threads based on that. So right here, 7 bad habits that are preventing you from having the life you want. If this was originally a newsletter, it would go over maybe a personal story as the introduction. It could go over everything else in the writing framework that we're going to go over. And then at the end, it could have 7 bad habits preventing you from having the life you want. And then from that, you can take that and turn it into a thread that will result in growth and plug the newsletter at the end. So you're getting newsletter subscribers, possibly making sales if you have an offer, and growing an audience because threads will help you grow more, right? So we're writing 1 newsletter a week, 1 thread a week from the newsletter, and then list tweets to match. I could turn this into I could straight up say 7 bad habits that are preventing you from having the life you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wrap it up with a 1-sentence hard hitter. And boom, you have a bunch of different content and you can plug the newsletter under that as well. And now what you can do with these is I want to show you how lists are quite literally the foundation of anything online, just because that's how people read and understand things. So on TikTok, here's a list. Straight up copy and pasted from one of my tweets where it's like my rules for a productive day. Wake up, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And you could see that in a tweet format, right? You could imagine it. Now, the next thing is I quite literally took the thread, screenshotted it, and put it in Instagram form. And now it's an Instagram post. And it did really well. And same thing with this, like I posted this earlier, it's doing really well. The lists just always work. Okay, so I wanted to give you a bit of context around this and help explain this a bit more. But now is the time where we're really diving into content creation as a whole. And we'll continue stacking and understanding these lessons until everything clicks.